Hi, today I just wanted to show you a little bit about how the program Tracker works and how we can use it to analyze the motion of an object by looking at a video frame by frame. This particular video is just a ball being thrown through the air, and if you notice over here it says that this particular video has 31 frames in it. Typically videos run 30 frames per second, so you could multiply those out and figure out how long this video clip is. You can move side to side one frame at a time, and so you can see how the ball moves, or you can drag the slider and move from location to location as well. In the middle of this particular video is a meter stick, which is giving us some sense as to the scale, how big the ball is and how far it got moved. One of the first things that we should do is tell the computer what the scale of the video is. We can see it, but the computer doesn't know that. And to do that, you need to use the measuring tool. You can click on the measure, the tape measure, and then you can drag this by grabbing from the arrows, and you should line it up with the ruler that's in there. The ruler happens to be spaced, those black lines are 10 centimeters apart each time. So I'm going to set it up, I'll do the whole thing as much as I can see here. And that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 centimeters long, or 1 meter. And if you click on the measurement, you can type in how long it is. It currently says 398, and that happens to be pixels, but I'd like to type in 1. That corresponds to 1 meter, and that will set the scale for future measurements and calculations that are made. Hit enter to lock that in. Now, the most important part of Tracker and the measurement part of Tracker is to analyze where the ball is at any given point in time. To do that, that's called setting up a track. And you would go to Tracks and choose New. And typically we would use a point mass. Once you've got a track set up, you can change its name. I'm going to change it to, say, Marble. Just click on it and change it. You can also change the way it looks. Right now, when I track it, it will show up as orange diamonds. I'm going to set it up so that it says, let's go with white, and we'll do a footprint is what size it is. I would like to do circles, and if you notice the directions down here, it says to shift click to mark the location of the marble. Anytime in any frame that you can see the marble, you should hold shift and click on it. So I can't see the marble right now, but if I step forward a couple frames, now I can start to see the marble. So I will hold shift and click, and notice how it advances to the next frame automatically. That's convenient. And then I will hold shift and click, and I will just follow the path of this marble. I'm creating a dot diagram. A lot of students start to freak out once you start to see that you're losing dots. You can easily change that by clicking on this track length or trail length button. This shows everything. This shows only the most recent one. This shows only the last 3. I typically like to see everything. So now, the coolest part about Tracker is, if you remember all the measurements we had to make with the previous dot diagrams and type them all into Excel and have it calculate all those things, Tracker can do all of that for us. Once we have clicked to the location of everything, Tracker can figure out the exact x and y coordinates of each of these points, and it can even calculate how fast the marble is moving at that particular point in time, or what the acceleration of the marble is. It can make graphs for us instantly. So let's look at how we can do that. First, you might need to go to the window and turn on the right view, and you'll see that it has already calculated a whole lot of things for us. Down here in this data tab, it gives us the time, and it gives positions for the horizontal and vertical location of the marble at any given point in time. Currently it's a little vague as to what this negative 0.585 is referring to. That means 58 centimeters behind something, but where is that something? It's nice to set the coordinate axis, and you can do that by clicking on the axes. This here is where 0, 0 is currently located. If you grab that and drag it, you could have it be located anywhere. Maybe you want to have it be located at the start, the starting location. This is where the ball left the teacher's hand. Notice now the first time you see the marble, the horizontal position is basically 0, and its vertical position is basically 0. The next frame, it has moved 5 centimeters over and 8 centimeters up, and that looks pretty accurate based on the scale that's here. One thing that you can do to this table is you can add columns to it, or take columns out, or move them around. It defaults to give you a time and a position of the marble at any given time, but it might be more convenient to talk about this not by time but by frame. If you go to the Data tab, there's all sorts of different things that you could add to this. If you click on the frame, now the frame number is on here, and you can drag that around if you'd like to put it first. Up here you have the ability to create all sorts of different graphs. One graph that is currently showing is the horizontal position versus time graph. If you'd like to change what's being graphed, the easiest way to do that is to click on the X or the Y axis and choose what do you want to see. So maybe I might do a vertical position versus horizontal position graph. Or simply a height versus time graph. Since we're studying momentum, let's draw a picture of the momentum, the horizontal momentum of the marble versus time, and see if the momentum stays the same, increases, or decreases. To do that, we first need to tell the computer what is the mass of the marble. If you click on the marble, you'll notice up above there's a little box that says mass. Well, it says M. That's for the mass of the marble. Let's suppose it's 10 grams. That would be 0.010 kilograms, which is the standard unit. Hit enter and that would lock that in. This is simply now displaying it in scientific notation. E -2, remember, means times 10 to the -2nd. Now if I'd like to see a graph of the momentum of the object, instead of graphing the position of the object versus time, I'm going to click on X and go down to PX, which is the horizontal momentum. And down here is time still. Now looking at the graph right now, it looks like it's super chaotic. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and it looks like it might be slowly increasing a little bit, but bouncing all over the place. You need to pay attention to the scale. The scale was automatically set for us and zoomed way in. If I click on that and change the scale to go, not automatically, but to be zeroed, and to go from 0 up to 2 and hit OK, you can see now, in reality, the momentum of this object is really not changing very much at all. It's pretty constant at about 0.18 or so the whole time. There are little variations, and those little variations are because when we clicked here, I might have been slightly too far to the right or slightly too far to the left. Notice as I click on 18, and if I drag it, the graph will automatically kind of readjust a little bit. Another cool feature that Excel could do too, but it does even easier here. Now, as you get things ready to insert into a lab report, you can insert them very easily. If you right-click and choose Snapshot, you'll be able to choose lots of different things. You could save this as a picture or change various options. You could also copy it, although you could have done that from here as well. Copy image takes a picture of the graph, and then you can open up Word, and in the middle of your lab report you can hit paste and you will see a picture of the graph. If you ever need to stop working on a tracker file, you can save your progress. If you go to File and Save As, any of your files will be called .trk files, and so I'm going to call this one ball toss out sample video .track, and you can choose where you'd like to save it and hit save, and then you can come back to it and it'll be just where you left off from before.